Good evening. Wherever you are right now, whatever kind of day it has been, you can let it end here. You don't have to carry it any further. The lamps can be dimmed. The phone can be set down. There is nothing left to fix tonight, nothing left to decide. For the next little while, all you have to do is rest your body, soften your breath, and listen. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let the weight of your head sink fully into the pillow, as though the pillow were made to hold exactly the shape of you. Take a slow breath in through your nose, gently, without forcing it. And let it go, long and unhurried, like a tide sliding back from the shore. Feel how with each breath out, your body grows a little heavier, a little softer, a little more willing to be still. There is nowhere to go. There is nothing to chase. You have done enough today. You are allowed to stop now. Let your legs grow heavy and warm, sinking into the bed. Let your arms grow heavy too, resting wherever they rest, loose and easy. Let your hands lie open. Let the small muscles of your face soften, the brow, the cheeks, the jaw, until your whole face feels gentle and still. With each breath out, let a little more of the day slip away from you, like a tide drawing slowly back from the sand, leaving everything quiet and smooth behind it. You do not have to hold anything now. You only have to listen and let the story carry you down. Tonight, I want to tell you a small and tender story from the village of Gokul, from the years when Krishna was only a little child, no taller than a basket of fruit, with eyes that seemed to hold the whole soft light of morning. Let the story gather you up and carry you gently down towards sleep. It was early, just after dawn, and the dusty lanes of the village were waking slowly. The first light lay soft and golden across the rooftops. The cattle were being led out to graze, their bells clinking gently in the cool air. Smoke rose thin and blue from the cooking fires, carrying the smell of the morning. And down one of the winding lanes came a poor fruit seller woman, walking slowly with a wide flat basket balanced on her head, calling out in a soft sing-song voice, "Fruit, sweet fruit. Who will buy my sweet ripe fruit?" Her feet were bare and dusty, her clothes worn thin from many years, but she walked with a quiet patience, calling her gentle call. Her basket was full of plums and berries and small golden fruits still cool from the night, glistening with the dew, and her voice drifted through the lanes like a soft and gentle bell, weaving in and out of the waking houses. Inside one of the little houses, the child Krishna heard her. His small face lit up with longing. Fruit. He loved fruit, the way only a small child can love something, with his whole heart all at once. And he knew, in the simple way children know such things, that you did not get fruit for nothing. You had to give something in return. So he looked about the house with great seriousness, and he toddled over to where the grain was kept, and he plunged both of his tiny hands into it and scooped up a small handful, as much as his little fingers could hold. This, he decided, was what he would trade for the fruit. And then, very pleased with himself, he set off toward the door and out into the lane, hurrying on his small unsteady legs toward the sound of that lovely voice. But here is the tender part, the part that makes you smile. His hands were so very small, and the grain so loose and his legs so wobbly, that with every step a little of the grain slipped and scattered out between his fingers. A trickle here, a trickle there, falling soft into the dust. He did not notice. He only hurried on, his eyes bright, his heart set on the fruit, leaving a faint trail of scattered seed behind him all the way down the lane. By the time he reached the fruit seller woman, almost all of it was gone. He stopped before her, breathing fast from the effort, and he opened his little hands and held them up to her, trustingly, hopefully. And there in his small palms lay only a few grains. A few worthless seeds, hardly enough to feed a single bird. That was all that was left of his offering. But the woman looked down at the radiant child standing before her, his face turned up to her so full of hope, his hands held out so trustingly, and her heart simply melted. She did not mind at all about the grain. How could she? She had never in her life seen a child so lovely, so bright, so brimming with sweetness. Something in her own tired heart eased and softened just to look at him. And so she smiled the warm, easy smile of a woman who has decided to be generous, and she reached into her basket and she filled his little hands, both of them, with the sweetest and ripest fruit she had, heaping it up until he could barely hold it. She asked for nothing more. She did not count the grains. She gave freely, simply because her heart was glad, simply because giving felt good. The child laughed with delight, a bright, clear laugh like a little bell, and held his fruit close against his chest with both arms, and toddled happily back toward his home, his small bare feet pattering in the dust. And the woman, still smiling to herself, warmed all through by the sweetness of the little one, turned back to lift her basket again and go on her way down the waking lane. But when she looked down into her basket, she stopped. She grew very still, for there, where the few worthless grains had fallen, something had quietly changed. The seeds were gone, and in their place, glittering softly in the morning light, lay jewels. Rubies and emeralds, and bright beads of gold, more wealth than she had ever held in her hands in all her long and weary life. The poor fruit seller stood there in the dusty lane with her mouth open, hardly able to breathe, as the morning sun caught the gold and threw little points of light across her astonished face. She had given a small kindness, freely asking nothing, and it had come back to her, multiplied beyond all measure, beyond anything she could have dreamed. The few worthless grains given by a child who had nothing else to offer, and received by a woman who gave without counting the cost, had become a treasure that would change her life. And so the poor fruit seller woman walked on through the waking village that morning, a rich woman, her heart even fuller than her basket, marveling at what a little kindness had become. She would tell the story for the rest of her days. The morning the bright child came toddling down the lane with his hands almost empty, and how the few small seeds he gave her turned to gold the moment she had given freely from her heart. Let that story settle over you now, soft and warm as you lie here in the dark. Feel how gentle its truth is. The child gave only a few grains, almost nothing at all. And yet, because it was given with a whole and open heart, it was received as though it were the greatest treasure in the world. And the woman gave only a handful of fruit, but because she gave it freely, with love, asking nothing in return, it was returned to her as jewels. Nothing given with love is ever truly small. Nothing offered from an open heart is ever wasted. It is all quietly multiplied somewhere in ways we may never see. There is such rest in that thought for a tired heart at the end of a long day. Because so often we lie down at night, feeling that what we had to give was too small, that our handful of grain slipped away through our fingers, that we arrived with almost nothing in our hands. But the story tells you, gently, that it was never the size of the offering that mattered. It was the love in it. The child's almost empty hands were enough. your almost empty hands are enough too. Whatever small kindness you manage today, the patient word, the quiet help, the gentle thought, it was received the way that child's few grains were received, with delight and treasured, and quietly turned to gold somewhere beyond your seeing. Feel how heavy and warm your body has become now, sinking down into the bed. Let your shoulders soften. Let your hands lie open and easy, the way the child held out his open hands, holding nothing back. There is nothing you need to clutch tonight. There is nothing you need to prove. You can rest in the simple knowledge that a giving heart is never poor, that love freely offered is never lost, that the smallest kindness is gathered up and multiplied by something far larger and far kinder than ourselves. Think of how much weight this lifts from a tired heart. So often we move through our days believing we must give something grand to matter, that our small offerings are not enough, that we keep arriving with too little in our hands. But the story sweeps all of that away with one gentle image. A child's almost empty hands, filled with fruit. A handful of grain turned to jewels. The size of the gift was never the point. The love in it was the whole of it. And there is no one alive, no matter how tired, no matter how little they feel they have, who cannot give that small and precious thing, a kindness offered freely from an open heart. Let your breath grow slow and even, rising and falling, all on its own. Picture, if you like, that quiet morning lane, the soft light, the trail of scattered grain glinting in the dust, the bright laughing child, the woman's astonished joyful face as the jewels caught the sun. Let it be the last gentle picture in your mind. It asks nothing of you. It only reminds you that the world is kinder than it sometimes seems, that giving is met with giving, that a soft and open heart is the richest thing a person can carry into sleep. And feel how good it is to let your heart be soft. We so often go through our days with our hearts held a little tight, a little guarded, careful not to give too much, careful not to be caught short. But the story whispers that the open hand is the one that is filled, that the soft heart is the one that grows rich, that there is nothing to fear in giving freely. Let your heart open now, here in the safety of the dark, the way the child opened his small hands and the woman opened her generous basket. There is no risk in it tonight. There is only the sweetness of a heart at ease, holding nothing back, asking for nothing, and somehow, quietly, becoming full. So carry a soft heart into sleep tonight. Let the day's tally of what you did and did not do simply fall away. You gave what you could, with whatever love you had, and that is always, always enough. Tomorrow when you wake, perhaps you will give a little kindness again, a few small grains held out in open hands, and perhaps you will never see what they become. But the story tells you they become something beautiful. They always do. Let yourself grow heavier now, and stiller and softer. The lane is quiet again. The child has gone home with his fruit. The woman has gathered up her treasure and gone on her way, lighter than she came. The morning sun climbs higher over Gokul, warm and golden, and the village goes about its gentle day, and the little trail of scattered grain still glints here and there in the dust, where the child once hurried by. And you can let go of everything, here in the warm dark, and drift, knowing that a giving heart is never empty, and a small kindness is never small. Go to bed with that soft open heart and see what changes. Not all at once perhaps, and not where you can watch it, but quietly somewhere, your few worthless grains are becoming jewels. They always do. Rest now in that gentleness. There is nothing more you need to hold and nothing more you need to give. You have given enough. You are enough. So go to bed tonight the way that child toddled down the lane, with open hands and an open heart, holding nothing back, trusting that whatever small thing you have to give is enough. Because it is. It always was. And somewhere, quietly, beyond all your seeing, it is being gathered up and turned to gold. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let your breath grow slow. Let the last of the day scatter softly away like grain in the dust, and let only the sweetness remain. Rest now. Breathe slow. Good night.